I have up until this point been listening to a lot of young Bob Dylan, and it's been a kind of amazing journey to find out as a rap fan how unbelievably lyrical this man is. But it's been a hell of a lot of young Dylan, and I'm always curious to see the evolution of an artist. And here we are. This is my own version of You, which is from a track from an album that was released in 2020, Rough and Rowdy Ways. Now it's 40, 50, at some point 60 years past the time Dylan was making those original records that kind of broke the mold for folk music and or pop music. So it's interesting to hear his evolution and whether he's still kind of on the cutting edge. I think it's going to be really cool because he's been such an iconoclast for so long. Now this track was actually a donator suggested track. This is Christoph's suggestion to me, so I've got to say thank you to Christoph for his donation and kind of having me check out a newer version of Dylan. So let's see where this one goes. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, here we go. This is My Own Version of You by Bob Dylan. I left out of the intro the fact that this track was inspired by the book Frankenstein, so let's see how that also plays into the music and the lyrics. So let's check this one out. Here we go. Oh, wow.
All through the summers into January, I've been visiting morgues and monasteries, looking for the necessary body parts, limbs and livers and brains and hearts. I'll bring someone to life is what I want to do. I want to create my own version of you.
Immediately, what struck me is musically, it sounds very, very different to 60s Dylan or even 70s. I think I've checked out tracks from the 70s of his as well. And I mean that in a good way. It still sounds great, but it still sounds very much like Dylan. His voice has matured for sure. It's much more deeper baritone as well. Very interesting to hear.
Well, it must be the winter of my discontent. I wish you'd have taken me with you wherever you went. They talk all night and they talk all day. Not for a minute do I believe anything they say. I'll go bring someone to life, someone I've never seen. You know what I mean? You know exactly what I mean. I'll take the Scarface Pacino and the Godfather Brando, mix it up in a tank and get a robot commando. If I do it upright and put the head on straight, I'll be saved by the creature that I create. I'll get blood from a cactus, gunpowder from ice. I don't gamble with cards and I don't shoot no dice. Can you look in my face with your sightless eye? Can you cross your heart and hope to die? I'll bring someone to life, someone for real, someone who feels the way that I feel.
Okay, so initially I was very curious where he's going to take this Frankenstein kind of link. Where's he going to go with this? I was thinking, is he talking about how you kind of piece together a person in your mind when you're in a relationship? You kind of create this monster out of a person, or maybe someone you're attracted to or you're lusting for, and you piece together this person who isn't actually who they are. That's what I thought the angle would be. The more I read it, the more I see that he's kind of speaking about himself more than anything, how he's like a pieces of other things together, right? And someone who feels the way that I feel. I mean, it still could be directed at someone else too, but it's interesting. I think he might be speaking more so about himself and taking these bits of other people and reading things and him trying to make a character for himself. I think that's what a young person does. As a young man, you kind of do that, right? You piece together personality traits of others and you try and figure out who the hell you are. As a young person, I should say, not as a young man. I think it works for both. Super interesting. Let's see how this plays out. Very smooth musically.
I study Sanskrit and Arabic to improve my mind. I want to do things for the benefit of all mankind. I say to the willow tree, don't weep for me. I'm saying the hell to all things that it used to be. Well, I get into trouble, then I hit the wall. no place to turn, no place at all.
Just real quick, I think this is a beautiful thing about Dylan that I love is to hear the fact that he was a hip hop fan and him saying, I'm saying to hell to all things that I used to be, and how like it's important to let go of things before and embrace life as it is and the changes. And hearing how much of a fan of Public Enemy he was makes me like him so much more. I think this is an attitude that a lot of people should have. But I don't know, that lyric just struck out to me. Really cool lyric.
I pick a number between a 1 and 2, and I ask myself, what would Julius Caesar do? I will bring someone to life, more ways than one. Don't matter how long it takes, it'll be done when it's done. I'm gonna make you play the piano like a Leon Russell, like Liberace, like St. John the Apostle. I'll play every number that I can play. I see you, baby, on Judgment Day. After midnight, if you still wanna meet, I'll be at the Black Horse Tavern on Armageddon Street. 2 doors down, not far to walk. I'll hear your footsteps, you won't have to knock. I'll bring someone alive, balance the scales. I'm not gonna get involved in any insignificant details.
Very cool to see the brilliant references throughout the thing. I mean, you can obviously tell anyway that Dylan has a brilliant mind, but I think it's clear by the references he makes about Liberace, St. John the Apostle. You hear biblical references being brought up, even this idea of the Black Horse Tavern on Armageddon Street, you know, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse on Armageddon happening, the Black Horse Tavern. I love these little references to history. What would Julius Caesar do? Very cool, man.
You can bring it to St. Peter, you can bring it to Jerome, you can bring it all the way over, bring it all the way home.
I wonder what he means by that. You can bring it to St. Peter, you can bring it to Jerome, you can bring it all the way over, bring it all the way home. Interesting. Okay, so this line, so St. Peter is obviously referencing the gates of heaven, and you can bring it to Jerome. I think he's talking about like bringing it to the streets, I believe. This makes me believe that what he's actually talking about is maybe the process of like writing. Is that what he's talking about here? It's a very cool metaphor. The idea of Frankenstein, right? Frankenstein is made by a bunch of different body parts. In the actual book, the novel by Shelley, I can't remember her name now. But, you know, it's the idea of an amalgamation of things. Is he talking about writing? Is he talking about being an artist? The way you create, you bring together all these different pieces, and it's kind of the description of like what it is to be a writer, perhaps? Is that what this is? Because that's what I think of when you see you can bring it to St. Peter, you can bring it to Jerome. So Frankenstein, the monster, is what he creates. Like the Dr. Frankenstein created a monster. Bob Dylan creates his art and his writing and his music. Maybe?
Bring it to the corner where the children play. You can bring it to me on a silver tray. I'll bring someone to life, spare no expense. Do it with decency and common sense.
Musically, Dylan is always giving space to his poetry.
Can you tell me what it means to be or not to be? You won't get away with fooling me. Can you help me walk that moonlight mile? Can you give me the blessings of your smile? I'll bring someone to life. I use all of my powers. Do it in the dark, in the wee small hours. I can see the history of the whole human race. It's all right there. It's carved into your face. Should I break it all down? Should I fall on my knees? Is the light at the end of the tunnel? Can you tell me, please? Stand over there by the cypress tree. where the Trojan women and children are sold into slavery.
Wow.
Long before the first crusade, way back for England or America made. Step right in to the burning hell, where some of the best known enemies of mankind dwell. Mr. Freud with his dreams, Mr. Marx with his axe. See the rawhide lass rip the skin from their backs. Got the right spirit, you can feel it, you can hear it. You've got what they call the immortal spirit. You can feel it all night, you can feel it in the morning. It creeps in your body the day you are born. One strike of lightning is all that I need.
I like this flow.
A blast of electricity that runs at top speed. Shimmy your ribs, I'll stick in the knife. Gonna jumpstart my creation to life. I wanna bring someone to life. Turn back the years. Do it with laughter and do it with tears.
Wow. What a cool experience that we're still around where we can hear like someone who's had the type of impact Bob Dylan has. It's like being able to like be around when Shakespeare was still making music. I think that's a bold claim for most artists, but I don't think that's a stretch with Bob Dylan because of how brilliant he is, how many kind of generations he carved musically, or inspired musically, I should say. I mean, he was a huge inspiration to the Beatles, and that in itself, of course, them being inspired, changed music through their work and their output. But, I mean, to not be disappointed when you have an artist in their 80s still making good music, it's super cool, man. Okay, so in general, what is the track about? I think it's not about one thing ever, is it? But I think he's talking about the process of like creation, I believe, right? That's a lot of the stuff he talks about, especially in those last couple verses, about maybe the idea of wanting to make something that lasts in the same way those other things have lasted. Some brilliant references here where he's talking about the Trojan women that were sold into slavery. Wow. Of course, the story, I don't think I need to explain it, but the Trojan story of being tricked by this fake gift and then being able to sneak inside the walls of the city and open up the city gates and let in all your soldiers. And then, of course, the children would have been sold in them days. You had some great other lines. You have this one here with like Mr. Freud with his dreams. You know, Freud being a dream interpreter, Mr. Mark with his axe. I think that's a reference to the communist sign, right? With the sickle. I thought it was a hammer. It's a sickle and a hammer, no? Sickle and an axe, maybe. Just a brilliant kind of weaving of all this kind of knowledge the dude has accumulated over the years. I mean, look, an absolutely brilliant writer. Very, very cool to see him still making something that is potent many, many years into his life. Not all artists do that. They tend to become like depleted inspiration-wise. So awesome track, and I'm happy Christoph has sent me this one to check out. So I'll catch you guys in the next one.